just give me right now, right now. Just give me right now, right now. Just give me right now, right now. Just give me right now, right now, right now, right now.
Hey guys, it's me Lacie, and welcome to another episode of LACIEOLOGY. Alright, so first, if you are listening to this podcast via any podcast streaming source, I want to thank you for listening, but I also want to let you know that you can find the video to this podcast on YouTube. If you want to find it, all you have to do is just go to YouTube, type in LACIEOLOGY, that's LACIE-ology in the search bar, and this will pop up. Or you can also type in Lacie and Freshie Productions, and this will pop up. If you are watching this podcast on YouTube, hey!
What's up,
and
man?
I appreciate you and she appreciates you. But if you want to find this podcast on a podcast streaming source, we are pretty much everywhere. You can find us on Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon Echo, and a plethora of other sources. If you try to find us on a source and you are unable to, just let me know and we can figure that out and let you know where you can find us. Alright, so if you are watching this, then you know who my guest is. And you're probably so excited.
What's up? What's up?
If you're listening, you don't know my guest, I'm going to tell you guys that she's one of my favorite people who I never get to see enough.
No.
Ever. I never, ever really get to see her unless Freshie is performing somewhere. So she's a performer. She's a model. She is the CEO, president of a model management group, TKO. They're super duper duper popular. If you go to a fashion show in Atlanta, you have probably seen her or her models. Yes. Probably her with like a serious face running.
Focus on the runway. Always focus.
And she is an actress.
Yes,
I am
yes,
sitting here with Real.
What's up, y'all? My name is Rose. What's up, deal?
Hi.
What's up?
Tell us about you.
Wow. So I do a lot. As Lacie said, I model. I do music. I act. I've been doing music for like 10 years, but I just put it out last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I just put it out last year.
Are you
I'm
serious?
so serious.
I would have thought
Last July, matter of fact, BS is the reason why I started performing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, July 2nd, I released my project. She asked me to perform, and I'd never performed, and she never knew until like recently. And then, I'm like sweating. I'm like, I gotta perform, and I loved it. Like, you can't get me off a stage.
I would have put like 4 years.
Everyone thinks I've been doing it for long. I just love it.
I love it. I had no idea. If you guys have ever seen her perform, then you understand that I am like mind blown. Because what? I'm learning so many new things.
Yeah.
All right, so on top of the arts, you also have another job that you don't actually talk a lot about. What is your other occupation?
I'm a police officer. I work for Atlanta Police Department.
And for you, because I didn't know until, when did I find out you were a police officer?
No one knows.
I know, you told me, when did I think I found out when Freshie was going through the process of becoming a police officer, and that's when I found out. And I was just like, what? But it made sense.
Everyone says that after the fact. Everyone either assumes I'm military or law enforcement. One of the two.
Yeah, I thought you were like prior military.
Yeah, everyone thinks that. Both my parents are military, so it kind of rubbed off on me.
What branch?
Army, both Army.
So sorry.
I know,
I
it's
thought
rough.
maybe it's better.
Yeah, it's rough.
No, I'm kidding. All right, so you don't talk about being a police officer that often. Is it because you want to separate your two worlds, or you just really don't really want people to know?
A little bit of both. People start to act different when they figure out what I do, and then plus being law enforcement doesn't define who I am.
Yeah.
That's just something I do. That's my profession. Yeah.
You guys, before you go into our topic, there was this party that I was at. I'll never forget this. I tell everybody this story. So we were hosting this party in February, I think, maybe January, and okay, Lacie sometimes gets too drunk, and so
Sometimes. Cough, cough.
every so often. No, but I was so wasted, right? And some of her models were at the event looking like these gorgeous, beautiful stallions, and they were also very drunk, right? And so this is before I knew she was a police officer, and so we're all drinking, and I'm like driving the boat. I'm like making everybody drink. They're driving the boat. It's a great time. And Rose on the side, and she's like, no, stop drinking. You've had enough, right? To like one of her models, and the girl's like, let me drink. And I kid you not, do you remember I pushed you? I literally pushed her. You got like, oh my gosh.
She was like, let her drink.
I was like, I'm so sorry. So I literally pushed her, right? And I'm like, let her drink. And she was like, she didn't get angry. Maybe she did, but like physically, she was just like these drunk hoes.
I promise you, that's what I said in my head. Like, these drunk hoes. I promise you, that's what I said. Like, was that really red in my face? Like, damn.
Not anger, just these drunk hoes. Every time we go out, I had to deal with these same drunk hoes. And so it was maybe like a month later or so, and I found out that she was a police officer, and all I could play in my head is like that night. And I'm just like, oh my God, I wonder if she would have arrested me. Like, do you ever want to follow people home just to make sure that they make it home?
I'm that friend. Tell me when you make it home. I'm that friend. Like, if we're out together, text me when you get home. And if I know it takes you 20 minutes to get home, and you don't take me about 25 minutes, I'm calling you. Hey, you home? You good? I kid you, I do that with all my friends. Like,
really?
If we out, I'm gonna call and make sure you're good.
Have you ever had to pull over one of your friends?
No, I hope not.
Ooh, how crazy. Like, Ro, please don't arrest me. Ooh, but I feel like she's such a cute cop. I would just be like, ooh, Ro, it's okay, arrest me.
The amount of times I get hit on, oh my God. I'm like, leave me alone.
Do you get hit on more by guys or by women?
Honestly, it's a even, like, playing field.
You're so
It's
attractive.
weird, like the dude's like, hey, let me take you out to dinner. I'm like, dude, like, I'm probably more masculine than you. Leave me alone. Let me take you out to dinner. Like, leave me alone. It's
So, okay. Have you had a situation where you like pull somebody over because they like legitimately did something? Maybe they were swerving in between lanes, and you actually walk up to the window and they're actually kind of drunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they like try to talk you out of giving them a ticket or arresting them. Does it ever work?
I mean, it depends. Like, we have a lot of discretion. So I'm one of those officers that don't want to ruin your life.
Yeah.
I like to do like teach you a lesson type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually had people who are DUI, and I'm like, look, you didn't destroy nothing, but you do have 30 minutes for somebody to come pick up your car and get you, or you're going to jail type thing. Because DUIs honestly ruin a lot of lives.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. Like, it's hard to get jobs. It's hard to get, apartments and stuff like that with a DUI in Georgia. It's crazy. Insurance skyrocket.
I don't drink and drive ever.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
It's not for me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does crime get you out of a ticket? Because I like to try on the waterworks for sure.
It depends. To me, honestly, if I pull you over 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna give you a ticket.
Oh.
It's pretty much a warning. But I hate those people that walk up to the car and they already have the license out. I don't know why that drives me nuts.
Really?
It irritates me because you're being like an asshole. It's like, I don't like that.
I always try to have mine. Actually,
Just have it out, like, so you're not, going through everything. But just don't. I'm walking to the car and it's
like that attitude thing.
Yeah, you're gonna get a ticket. At this point, I'm not gonna say, wait, I'm pulling you over. Like, you're going to get, you're getting a ticket.
Sometimes I pull out my military ID first, and then
Yo, the amount of people who do that. I'm like, okay, my mom and dad are military. What's up? I just came back from combat. I was like, thank you for your service, license and registration. Like, what is that supposed to do?
No, I do it by accident, right? I was like, oh, wrong ID. Hold on, let me grab my. I was 23, and I had a sports car, and I live in San Diego, and that's just the thing. So I was going 110 one morning.
110.
Yeah, I used to go 110 a lot. To work. Yeah, I don't know.
What?
It's just I like to drive fast. So I was going 110 one morning, and there was traffic. So I'm like, zoom, 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 zoom. But when I looked at the speedometer, it was definitely 110.
It's always that.
And so I got I got pulled over, and I'm in my full PT gear. And I tried the whole give the officer my military ID first, and then like, oh, I'm so sorry, wrong ID, right? He was so much more mad. Like, he was just like, yeah, you guys do this all the time. It doesn't work. Give me your ID.
I'm telling you, all the time.
I started crying.
It happens all the time. Not the waterworks. Not the waterworks. my God.
Please don't do that. It's a real thing. Me and my boyfriend just broke up and he kicked me out. I have to go to work now. It's so sad.
Oh my God. Not the waterworks.
Don't judge me. Now I'm about to get pulled over. Okay, great.
You better knock on wood.
I've spoken into existence, and that's not what I
The
want.
universe is like, okay, I got you.
All right.
Did you get the ticket?
Nah, because I started crying.
That doesn't work on me.
That's why I only do it to men. This woman. I only do it to men. I'm not kidding. Because it works every time. Because women know women.
Yeah. Like, okay, you're BSing right now.
Men, if you like, can get super emotional but not angry, it almost reminds me of them of like their mothers or their sisters. So then they have more empathy for you.
I can see that.
Yep, that's what I do.
Not for me, though.
I just get so sad and my voice gets so low,
It's
and I'm
soft.
almost like pleading for you to
Does
like
it crack a little bit too?
Yeah. I don't know. I swear.
Ow!
I'm such a good driver. I'm just really going through something.
Oh my God.
It works every time. I gotta, oh God, why are you here again? Knock on my
You're like,
wall.
real. Oh my God, I got a ticket.
No, I only do it to men. For women, I'm actually just more straightforward. Like, girl, I'm so sorry, my bad.
I'd rather you do that. Like, you know what? I'm in
Yeah.
a rush. I wasn't paying attention. Just be honest. Don't give me the waterworks. At the end of the
Right.
day, why are you acting?
It's easy in Atlanta too. All you gotta do is almost like flirt with the guys, and they'll almost let you go.
Yeah.
Give them your number.
They're easy.
They're so,
They're so
easy.
easy.
Some cops. I moved here,
Mhm.
and I was only in Atlanta for like 3 weeks, and I was meeting my friend downtown for drinks, and I hadn't learned like the roads yet, and I was going down a one way, but the opposite direction,
Everyone does it.
and.
It's like a norm. If you can go down a runway, wrong way, down a wrong way.
It's a real thing. These cops just like followed me, and then like once they led me to like the right road, they literally were just like trying to like holler at me from the window, and I was so uncomfortable. Like I was scared, mainly because it's like I didn't want to like turn them off or like make them upset because I didn't want, I was like, fuck, what do I do now? And they were creeps about it.
They're aggressive.
They're very aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you ever, because one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today was because of the current climate.
Yes.
And this has been, this year, like we've always had, blue on black crime. We've always had these issues, but this year it's like everything was just heightened to like everything.
Every other week I feel like something was going on.
Right. It was like, it was just a crazy year. You just couldn't avoid some kind of drama, and one of the big issues that we had this year outside of our current president is are the police forces around the country, and how people are just kind of like tired of being mistreated, and just the climate. So do you ever feel any difficulties being a police officer in today's climate?
It's more so not really having a difficulty. It's more so like outside of law enforcement, I'm still a black woman.
Yeah.
I've been followed in my uniform, in my personal vehicle. I've been followed around the store. So outside of the uniform, like I'm black. So to see everything that's going on, it's like, okay, it's not even about law enforcement.
Right.
It's the bigger picture. It's about black lives at this point. But the issue comes into play is when you're that officer that speaks up.
Yeah.
And I've always had that issue when I speak up against things. Like if you follow me on Twitter, look, I am loud about anything. Look, that was wrong. The officer did this wrong. The officer did that wrong. I'm that officer. Like I've even called some of my coworkers, my comrades, like, yeah, don't do that. Not while I'm on scene. Don't do that. No. So that's always been my issue. And so like being that officer that speaks up is what comes the difficulty, because not too many officers are confident in themselves speaking up because of the backlash that happens.
And that's, this year we've TikTok was introduced to the black community at least, and we've really been going so hard on TikTok, and a lot of people have been using that platform to get things out more than Instagram, more than Twitter lately. And what I have seen is at minimum, 3 police officers get fired this year just for speaking out, about actual, real, true injustices, not trying to create issues, within the force, but just this was wrong, and being a minority first,
Mm-hmm.
and then being a police officer second,
Mhm.
it's cost people their job. So do you feel like when officers don't speak up, they are legitimately a part of the problem? Because I think a lot of people...
No, you are the problem.
Really?
That's you're the problem.
Really?
Yeah, like why would you not speak up? If you see something wrong, speak up. We were always taught at a young age, if it's wrong,
Right.
speak up. Like, don't do that type thing. And we see when things are wrong, but some people get conditioned to like act a certain way. Everyone will say they never sell their souls or act a certain way, become police officers, but you end up becoming a robot.
Yeah.
Like you end up falling into that trap and doing things a certain way that they want you to do it. And luckily, I've never been that person because I'm strong-minded.
Right.
So I've never been that type of person that fall into the trap or do what everyone else is doing.
You guys, she's so strong-minded.
Listen.
I have tried to make her take a shot with me on many occasions. And
I've
she
never drank. I'll
looks
be
me
32 on the 15th. I've
Really?
never had a
My
sip of
mom isn't
alcohol.
a drinker either.
This smell makes me nauseous.
Now look at me. So, what advice would you give to even seasoned officers? Not even just new officers, because I imagine it's very, very, very hard to be a new officer in today's climate. But even seasoned officers who have kind of fallen into this robot, mindset where they don't speak up. What are some ways that they could speak up without fear of like losing their jobs or being harassed at the workplace?
Oh, that's a good question. Because no matter what, you're gonna be harassed. Like, for instance, I actually got terminated from my job last August.
Really?
Yeah, so I was out sick in all of 2017, all of 2018. So I tried to come back to work, and they literally like put me in the investigation. I got fired in August, and so of course I got rehired this year. But the investigation happened because I used to get written up for doing the right thing.
Oh, wow.
I was an officer, like everyone knows, officers get stuff free at convenience stores. It's not a secret. Like everyone knows this.
I need a uniform.
Look, so I would go into like Quick Trip and get things, give it to the homeless people.
Oh.
So like literally everyone on my beat knew me, and I got in trouble for doing that. Or the infamous one, hey, there's homeless people in the park, because Piedmont Park closes at 11 p.m. So those who don't know, don't be in Piedmont Park at 11:01. You're gonna get arrested.
Wow. I
Yeah,
never knew
it's
that.
a city ordinance.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't be in the park.
All the time?
At 11 p.m. to 6, you can't be in the park. 6 a.m.
know.
Yeah, don't do it, because it's officers who are petty, don't have anything to do with themselves. So homeless people used to sleep in the park. You're homeless. Where are you gonna go?
Right.
Or rather, you sleep in a park than break into cars
Right.
and
Or buildings.
anything. So pretty much, I wouldn't arrest the homeless people, and I got written up for it. So when they went to like kind of rehire me back, that was kind of the issue. So I'm like, you really are looking at the write-ups of me doing the right thing.
Do you still do those things, or you don't do those things anymore?
So I'm actually, I've actually been on the desk for the longest. I'm going back on the streets on Thursday.
Are you nervous?
Nah.
Have you guys? So what I've seen. So you guys, I live in Clayton County, or it depends on what side of the street you're on, Fulton, but Clayton is Clayton.
Clayton's Clayton.
And what I've seen a lot of now is when police officers are pulling over one car, it's 3 police cars now instead of 1 car. Now, is that because they're harassing us, or?
No. I'm explain that. So the first car is an initial officer pulling you over. The second car is backup. We always have to have backup because we're so short now that we don't ride 2 to a car. The third car is bored and being nosy. I'm being so serious. I'm so serious. Like I tell people all the time. The first car is the initial officer. The second is for backup. Third is like, oh, I drove by. What are they doing? Type thing. I'm being nosy.
Oh,
So people get upset. Like, why are 3 cars pulling over?
Right.
I promise you that last car isn't doing anything. But sitting there trying to BS because they don't want to go back to work.
Right.
And the second car is for backup.
Oh.
So when I explain that to people, they're like, oh, okay, it makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, it really does. It's like you're harassing us.
It's extra. It looks
Right.
extra, and it's really not. That second car is for backup. The third car is because they're bored.
I really like. I would just drive down. Okay, no lie. In my mind, anytime I'm driving down the street, because I live in Clayton,
Yeah.
and I see 3 cars pulling over 1 car. Off top, I'm just like, dang, they must have had drugs.
What? Drugs?
I'm not like, I'll come home, I'm like, oh my God, Kia, I think I saw a drug butt lady.
Not drugs. No. The second car is backup. The second car is Because you'd rather have backup there already versus trying to call
Right.
and have someone flying lights and sirens to you type thing. So
I've accused some of you guys of getting pulled over for drugs that didn't even. I'm so sorry. But the more you know, because I had no idea, especially in our community. A lot of times you get stuck in your community, whatever that community might be. So you don't always know what's going on in other communities, but you always assume it's better than your community.
Yeah.
And so when you live down here and everybody talks about living down here in Clayton County, so like you don't want to go to Clayton County jail. So it's like when I see one car getting pulled over by 3, I'm just like, damn, like they just really don't let people catch a break. But now I see it's just so have police officers as a whole bumped up their security for themselves since the beginning of the summer when everybody was rioting and burning buildings down?
So the funny thing about that is a lot of officers aren't really trying to do anything now.
Yeah.
It's a safety thing. They're like actually scared in a sense.
Yeah.
Easy way of saying it. Because you just don't know.
Right.
Like in Cali, they're sitting there chilling, eating, and weren't even doing anything. Someone came up to shot them.
Right.
So a lot of officers are being more lenient. I sped past coming here because I was like, oh my god, I gotta get there in time. I sped past the officer. I was like, oh shit. He looked at me, put his hand up, and kept moving. Like a lot of officers don't want to do anything because of the climate and because of COVID.
Right.
So it was like, okay, I don't know if they have COVID or if they're gonna shoot me type thing. So it's kind of crazy how the tables have turned because now officers are like,
they don't know what to do.
Yeah. It's either you're gonna go to jail or lose your job, and it's like,
Do you guys really have a quota?
Well, my county we don't. Well, we don't have APD. Don't have a quota. I don't know about every other.
Because like you like see cops at the end of the month be like,
GSP does Georgia State Patrol. That's why they always, if you see them getting in the month, they always getting tickets and pull people over. They do, but Atlanta doesn't have. We don't have a quota. We have to meet certain points, and we can do that by stopping in convenience stores and checking on people or patrolling parking lots. We don't have to actually get tickets.
That makes sense. I used to work at an apartment complex, and I had one night overnight, and this APD officer he came once to like do a wellness check. It was like a retirement home, and he came to do a wellness check for some lady, and almost every week after that, on my one night overnight, he would like stop there from like 5:30 in the morning to like 6:30, sometimes 7, and he would not leave. He would just be chilling, like just talking to me, and I'm just like, bro, you don't got things.
That's one of the you can do. We do call them 89Ps with APD. Pretty much you're just chilling. That's one of your little spots that you can hang out with. And the convenience stores love it. That's why they would give us free stuff. Cause hey, officer so and so here to make sure no one robs the store or steal anything type thing. So
that's what he did. He used to be like, oh no, I'm just patrolling this retirement home. Like what? No, you're not, bro. You trying to mad? Get out of here. I'm gay.
He probably was trying to do a little bit of both.
He was. My kid did not love it. One day she literally was like, I'm about to just pull up at 4 a.m. Like,
it'd be like that. My ex used to pull up on me all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, where you at? I'm like, over here by Greyhound. Okay. 5 minutes later, I'm like, what the? Hey, I brought you lunch. I'm like, why you
nosy?
What you doing?
She's just worried because you're so fun. And you be on her mind. See, I'm a rapper.
Bars.
All right.
Gotta put you in the studio.
I try to get in that.
Look.
So tensions are high right now. Not as high right now as they were in the beginning of the summer or midsummer. But they are still kind of high and people are on edge. Do you ever feel pulled in either direction when it comes to like race relations with police officers? No.
Cause like I said before, at the end of the day, I'm a black woman. That's first. Like that badge doesn't define me.
Okay.
And then right is right, wrong is wrong. If an officer's wrong, I'm gonna say they're wrong.
Right.
I'm not gonna back you because we're supposed to be brothers and sisters in blue.
Right.
That doesn't mean nothing to me outside of the uniform. Because in the day, if you're wrong, I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. If you're right, I'm gonna tell you you're right. It's been some incidents where the officer, the shooting was justified.
Right.
I'm not gonna say their actions were right, but there's laws that can protect officer shooting and can justify it.
Right.
Like for instance, the shooting that happened at the Wendy's. Technically, that was justified, but if they're doing more research on that, so I'm gonna be quiet.
it's just, that was even like listening to it on the news, it sounded so unnecessary, even if justified, kind of unnecessary. And I think for a lot of people, for a lot of minorities, when you're at home and you're just like living your best life, scrolling on Instagram, going to the shade room, try to get the celebrity gossip, and then you scroll past another like senseless death. I think that's the hard part with people, is like, it might be justified or justifiable, you know, through the law, but the issue is like, it still was pointless. It could have been avoided.
You could have did something different.
Right.
I've actually pulled people over who were asleep at the light.
Right.
Hey, go in that parking lot, go to sleep.
Right.
He was sleeping in the Wendy's parking lot. What was the issue?
There's a time where, I'm not going to tell you all my business, but I'm about to tell you my business. Okay, it's not really my business. It's Freshies, but I'm about to tell you.
Ooh.
So, me and my now wife got in an argument or whatever, because, you know, Lacie was drunk. But it was the liquor, really. And my partner was just like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. These drunk hoes. I'm about to just leave. And she left. We were all drinking all night. We all had way too much to drink. And she left and realized I can't actually drive right now. And so she pulled over and slept in her car. And it's like, that next morning, she was able to come home. But scenarios where you really are, you can say to yourself, I'm too drunk and I'm not supposed to drive drunk, but I'm in my car, let me pull over, but then you don't make it home. For you as a police officer, what's something, I won't say what's something different that you would have done, because I don't want you to step on another officer's toes, but when you're like reading reports and you're just like, what, like, are you ever just like, what?
A lot of times. Like I said, I've actually got behind people who were like asleep behind the wheel, and I'm like, hey, you good? No, I just got off from no overnight shift. I used to work overnights, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And so it's more likely you see people sleeping, like knocked out. I mean, it happens. So everyone does things different. That's when the whole discretion comes into play. But literally, like, I've told them, hey, go to this parking lot, take a nap, then go home. And then I'm like, oh, I'll come back, sit here for a little bit, a few hours, I'll come back, knock on the window, so you to leave type thing.
Right.
I just wish officers use their discretion a little bit more. You don't always have to do everything technically by the book.
Be so anal about it. And so is it difficult for you in your field as a black woman, even in Atlanta?
Yes. Being a police officer, law enforcement, it's a male-dominant field. It's a white male-dominant field. So I'm literally the opposite of both of that. And like, as a black woman, we're known to be, you know, firm, you know, strong, voice our opinion, and I'm every bit of that. So it's kind of hard because we have that stigma of the angry black woman going into law enforcement. And I actually hate that we have that stigma. Yeah, I promise you, like, it was weird because when I was on nights, my entire watch, except for like about 4 people, were black women. Yeah, so it was cool because we had this, you know, camaraderie. We would meet up and make sure we got each other call and, you know, look after each other. But it's hard because we always looked at as weaker as a woman.
Right.
And then, like I said, being black in a white male-dominant field, it's like, it's always like,
Right.
It's hard. It's hard. We always have to prove ourselves. Because I'm smaller too, so it's always, oh, okay, you're little. All right, let's wrestle then. Let's see how little I am.
Wait, real quick before I ask you about this last question, you said you're smaller, which made me think, in the military, you have to like PT 3, 4, 5 days a week, depending on where you work. Do police officers have to work out? Because sometimes I be seeing someone, I'm just like, how did you fit in your car?
Okay, so for APD, once we leave the academy, we don't take a PT test. So that's why you've seen some of these sloppy officers. I actually just tweeted that. I'm like, yo, fat and overweight and out of shape officers piss me off. Like, you get out and your stomach is hanging. Like, what do you want to do?
I saw a guy at the fair.
You got food spots on your uniform. I hate that.
You guys don't have like you have to be clean shaven, presentable.
We do. We have, you know, SOPs, things are, you know, procedures that we have to abide by or follow. But some people, once they've been in a department for so long, they get away with murder, literally. Like,
yeah, I'm just like, who are you chasing? Who?
They don't.
Who
They don't.
are you stopping?
It's always a new officer that you see for chases.
Literally, I don't get it. All right, so if you guys are wondering, nope. Sometimes they don't have free gown. That's why. But they can't eat
always
donuts.
at gym though. The funny thing about it,
You guys don't eat donuts?
I don't know where that came from. I don't know like where. I guess back in the day, I don't know, but we don't eat donuts and drink coffee.
Maybe before there were gas stations everywhere where you can stop and get snacks. There were
Probably.
donut shops all over the place.
Yeah,
And
I
get
don't
free
really
donuts
get that
as well.
stigma. I don't know where that came from.
Mm-hmm. They be eating donuts.
We do get free donuts though. Krispy Kreme. I might have gotten 1 or 2 free donuts.
So let me just throw on this. Even though I'm out of the military, I still got the uniform. Let me just put it on real quick. I was like paying for my food today.
You ain't right.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Maybe.
I'm so fresh, young.
Alright, so what is something that you really want civilians to understand about your job?
One thing. We already touched on the backup. That's one thing I wanted to touch on, why there's so many cars. But the other thing is, please stop telling us to shoot someone in the arm or leg. Why didn't you shoot them in the leg?
Wait, so you guys aren't trained to do that?
We're trained to shoot center mass. We're trained to shoot at the biggest body part. And that's literally center mass. That's what we're trained to shoot at.
Okay, this is crazy. Okay, so literally it is a very, 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 very common misconception that you guys are trained to shoot to wound and not to kill. But even in the military, when I first joined the Navy, I was working with Navy SEALs.
Okay.
I'm a woman, I cannot be a Navy SEAL, but I can be their help, whatever. And I had to go through a separate gun qualification course than I did at boot camp to learn how to use like real weapons to protect Navy SEAL compounds. And while we were in training, I kind of waved my gun, guys, but whatever, it's cool. Okay, so I got past that moment. However, the guys made a joke and they said, Lacie, we're taught to shoot to kill because we go to battle. And they made the joke like, Lacie, you're not trying to be a police officer right now and shoot to wound. You need to keep your guns pointed straight and shoot to fucking kill. Otherwise, give us your gun. And anyways, they gave me a wooden one at first. But so
Literally, we're trained. If we shoot someone, we still have to make sure they're okay. We have to, like, literally, I can shoot someone and I have to go and call an ambulance, call a medic, but I have to at that time actually do some type of CPR on them.
we really,
We're actually trained to do that. Like if you shoot someone, you still have to make sure, like, okay, oh my God,
right,
make sure they're good, they're breathing.
which is what didn't happen with Brown and Taylor's situation. Hey, so that's crazy.
Look,
No.
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna touch. No, we don't have enough time to touch on that.
Because the Breonna Taylor situation is just so much more, it's so much more deep than like people really know.
There's so much more facts that haven't been released.
Right. And so it was settled. The family got money. The neighbors got justice. The wall got justice. And there we are just going to leave it at where it is because we don't want to spark any more outrage or force Real into a situation where she says something that we just don't really, we don't need those issues over here. Though it was an unfortunate situation.
It should never happen.
Exactly.
It should never happen. I'm gonna say that. It should have never happened.
Poor Breonna. We love you.
Yes.
All right. I like talking to you.
It was great.
That was great. I think that's the first time we've actually like talked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And you gotta come back so we can talk about modeling and music. Cause y'all know how to sing, right?
Yeah,
I know.
Do something real quick.
No, I'm too shy.
Okay.
What was that fourth member of Destiny's Child when she like was talking about how they kicked her off?
What was that girl's name?
Latavia? Was that her name?
The something.
Yeah. And she was in an interview and they were
We
like,
don't know her name.
we don't need to know her name because she can't sing, girl.
Ooh.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, that went left.
I know. This was fun. I enjoyed talking to you.
enjoyed
And
it.
honestly,
Thank you for having me.
we may have to like have Lacie do some more research and just bring Real in just to talk about police facts because there's so many things that we don't know as civilians. I mean, we sometimes are so aggressive with cops, and it's like we act like we know everything, and a lot of times we just really, somebody told us one thing sometime, and then we just believed them for forever.
Yeah, stop with the stop. I call them Facebook lawyers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they they escalate a lot of situations like this. Honestly, I hate the saying to show your ID, but an officer actually for your ID, if you get pulled over, show the officer your ID. Because it doesn't need to escalate.
It really doesn't.
But they do need to tell you why they pull you over. I'm gonna say that.
Even if you don't tell me, I'm still giving you my ID, so there is that. I just don't need those issues. Like,
I mean, I get it, but an officer by law for Atlanta, I'm gonna speak on Atlanta. We are supposed to, when we pull you over, we're supposed to tell you why we pulled you over.
you guys.
And I'm supposed to say, hey, I'm Officer so and so. I'm Officer Gordon. I pulled you over for this reason. Do you have your license and registration? It's like it should be like repetitive at this point. It's innate. But a lot of officers are like, hey, license registration. Like, okay, why you pull me over? I'll tell you once you give me your license registration. No, why did you pull me over?
But wouldn't that also escalate the situation?
I mean, it always escalates the situation, but it's like, you would want to know why you got pulled over, right? No, okay.
Just let me go. I'm just start crying. Like, literally, y'all, I just be trying to think about, I need to go home today to tell Freshie you would never believe your girl got pulled over. So immediately I just start crying, and I get in like sadness mode, not defense mode. But
even if I've gotten pulled over and I'm like, how you doing, officer? I don't even tell law enforcement when I get pulled over. I'm law enforcement.
You don't?
Nah. I had a situation once where I had to tell them because my brother was in my glove box looking for my insurance card, and he immediately put his hand. I was like, oh, hey, my brother in blue. Hey. Law enforcement. We were out of the state. We were in Indiana. I'm like, hey, I'm law enforcement. Can you not do that? He's like, huh? I showed him my badge, like I'm law enforcement. He's like, oh yeah, where you headed? Where you work at? For Atlanta. He's like, slow down, you're in the construction area. So it's a whole 360.
Right.
Like it changes completely, well, 180 because 360 background. But
I love that you said that, because sometimes people really are like, oh, it's a whole 360, and in my head I'm like, don't judge them out loud,
so
Lacie.
180.
Don't judge them out loud. Just let me make a face. Just keep it straight, Lacie. Keep it straight. No, that's there was a video earlier this summer. It was a black guy. He was in the FBI, and what happened? He was in a situation. These cops tried to stop him on the street. I think he was like leaving a store or something. Some lady said he was like stealing something, but he was an FBI agent, and he waited until the cops kind of escalated the situation for him to tell them that he was FBI. But then even after that, there was no like camaraderie there. There was no like mutual respect. It was just like, fuck you and your job.
There usually isn't between local law enforcement and federal.
Really?
So weird, yeah.
Wow. Well, there's that. No. We're gonna go, you guys. But we'll bring her back so we can talk about we'll just do like a whole list of just debunking facts. That'd be fun.
That'd be cool.
All right.
I got you.
I love you.
Love you more.
Bye, guys. Oh, wait. Don't leave. Where can they find you if they want to find you on social media?
Oh, at Real Got Vibes. REALGOTVIBES.
If you guys are watching this
That's on everything.
podcast, I'm going to actually put that in the description below and also on screen. I think we do that. And then if you're listening to this, it'll be in the description wherever you're listening to us from, so you can always find Real.
Yes, follow your
She's
girl.
so cute. You guys know, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.